We are back with an unexpected side effect of this coronavirus crisis: Asian Americans becoming targets of discrimination.
Racism in the time of pandemic. Harassment and assaults against Asian Americans are up sharply.
There are many unsolved bias crimes here in New York City happening since the pandemic started, and most of them are against Asian Americans.
This shit is fucked up. So recently I read an article from NBC that stated about 30% of Americans have witnessed some sort of form of discrimination towards Asian Americans since the start of all the coronavirus nonsense. Of course, I was aware that a lot of these issues were happening and have been happening, but I was just really shocked and upset. So in honor of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Heritage Appreciation Month, I figured I would talk about something that was related to Asian American identity, and given the current circumstances, it felt really difficult to not talk about the current issue at hand. So I am Chinese American. I grew up in a predominantly white community in California. My parents are immigrants from China and they came here in the 90s, so I am a first generation Asian American. Although I have not personally been a victim to any sort of hate crime or discrimination, I think I have become extremely aware of my otherness, of being a minority in my area.
So are you Chinese or Japanese?
Thankfully, my community is very friendly and I haven't been a victim to any sort of discrimination. Regardless, there's still a lot of hate that is happening in the world. I read another statistic, a report from the AAPI Hate Crime Coalition. This statistic had reported that over 1,500 cases of hate crimes against Asian Americans occurred between the end of March to the end of April, so about over the course of a month. And that is crazy because there are already not very many Asian people in the United States. How many Asians in the US? So yeah, Asian people only make up 5.6% of the total American population, yet so many Asian people are facing a plethora of discrimination: cyberbullying, verbal harassment, people being refused service in grocery stores or in restaurants, and even people being physically harassed, physically assaulted.
These fucking, like, nasty people should stay fucking
Get back!
What do you want? Why doesn't she go back to where she came from?
There are tons of Asian businesses that are going under, and even in some Asian communities, I heard there's been a large uptick in gun sales and various weapons of sorts because Asian people are genuinely afraid for their lives right now. I think a lot of this goes back to pre-existing uneducated racist beliefs that a lot of American people hold. There are many important leaders in this country who have decided to call the coronavirus the Chinese virus, which implies that Chinese people are the virus, or all Chinese people have the virus. And a lot of people in the States, quite frankly, cannot tell the difference between a Chinese person or another type of Asian person. Honestly, like, I can't even tell sometimes. People ask me if I'm Korean all the time, and like, no. But you know, I think a lot of people are being victimized or are becoming victims of violence and hate and discrimination because people think all Asian people are Chinese, and political leaders want to call this virus the Chinese virus. But it just shows that when things go wrong, people in power love to have something or someone to blame. People in power also don't realize that their words can really influence the behavior of citizens. So I didn't really want the focus of this video to be about all the hate that is happening. I'm sure many of you guys are super aware. We don't need that kind of energy right now. I wanted to focus a little bit more on the things that Asian community have been doing to fight against these hate crimes. right now, more than ever, I am super proud to be part of the Asian American community. I think so many people are really stepping up and voicing their opinions and spreading awareness of all of the things that are happening. There are lots of my favorite Asian celebrities who have stepped up and spoken out about firsthand experiences they have faced, or maybe just the general sentiment around Asian American discrimination. People like Ryan Higa, who made his COVID-19 YouTube video, and lots of famous Asian actors and celebrities, people like John Cho, Daniel Day Kim, Lana Condor, Awkwafina, and countless other Asian American celebrities, influencers who have spoken up about the issues at hand. I wanted to throw in an extra little shout out to people who are not Asian but have been really standing strong with the Asian community and fighting against discrimination. The support is very much appreciated, and it's super awesome to see people coming together like this. On top of that, I've seen an uptick in a lot of online support resources and support groups, places like Subtle Asian Traits or other Facebook groups that are maybe more specific to reporting hate crimes. There are also a couple different websites that I've seen pop up, like the AAPI hate crime website has now an instant report form that people can report hate crimes to. People were able to really quickly respond and create resources to support Asian Americans in this time of need. I've also seen a ton of various social media campaigns, things appearing on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, on every platform. Here are just a few Instagram pages that I have seen that I think are doing a super good job at spreading awareness. Pages like @StopDiscrimination, @WeAreUprisers, or @HateIsAVirus, or @AsianActivist is also just one of my favorite Asian Instagrammers who just talks a lot about Asian American issues. And lastly, there are a ton of various social media hashtags that we can use to spread awareness, like hashtag I am not COVID-19, hashtag hate is a virus, hashtag wash the hate, hashtag racism is a virus, and I'm sure there's a ton more online resources that I'm completely unaware of, but these are just ones that I have personally seen in my periphery and in my general circles. So right now I'm very hopeful about what the community at large is doing and how people are generally responding to all the incidents that are happening. I am a sucker for action items, so I always like to leave a few things for people to do and what can we personally do to help effect change and spread awareness. So here are a few things that I thought of. I'm sure there are many more ways we can support. First is to support your local Asian-owned businesses. And so this can be anywhere from small like boutiques and shops, family-owned businesses, to Asian-owned restaurants ordering takeout and gift cards, making sure to help keep these businesses afloat. A lot of Asian-owned businesses have been taking a huge financial hit, not because they don't provide like great products or services or food, but because they are owned by Asian people. Another way is to help keep the Asian community together, which might sound like kind of an odd thing, but I was thinking about it, and especially I feel like for us like first-gen Asian Americans, a lot of our relatives are like low-key a little bit racist to other Asian people, and right now is not the time to be racist against each other. We're all being grouped in this collective hate crime, and of course we should not be racist to other Asian people in general, but right now is just the worst time to have any type of animosity towards other Asian groups. So try to keep the glue of the Asian community together. A third way that we can support is just to simply speak up and spread awareness when we see hate crimes happening. This doesn't have to just be in our personal lives. That is not the only time to speak up. I think it's really important when we see news articles or things on social media just to spread awareness, use various hashtags, or making sure that these issues stay on top of mind. Even though some states are beginning to reopen, the issues are still very much here. The virus is still here, the hate is still here, and I think it's important to keep these issues on the top of people's minds. And lastly, I think this is just like a small plug, but this is actually a campaign I have no affiliation with. On my shirt, I have no affiliation with, but I thought they were a super cool campaign. I was reading about them and it sounds like they do a lot of activism in general, and they have this really cool campaign called Hate is a Virus. What you can do is you can go onto their website, purchase one of their various products, and the proceeds go to Asian-owned businesses. So you can do a little bit of both. You can help support an Asian-owned business and at the same time get some swag to spread awareness. I'm sad that all of this is happening. It's a really terrible side effect to an already shitty situation, but I'm super proud of the Asian American community, and there's so much that is happening right now. I feel very proud to be Asian American these days, given that so many people are responding really quickly and so many people are stepping up and spreading awareness about these hate crimes that are happening. I hope everyone is staying sane, staying inside, and is staying safe. And that is all. Bye!
So are you Chinese or Japanese?